BJJ Hacks in 2011, and it was shortly after I moved to Brazil. I moved to Brazil because I basically wanted to go there to experience the best jiu-jitsu in the world. I'd already been to Brazil as a tourist, and I really enjoyed it. You know, the lifestyle, the level of the sport out there was incredible. So when I went back, I wanted to continue working in the field that I had done for many years. My background is as a journalist. You know, I was a journalist working in MMA for a long time, and I started BJJ Hacks as a pet project. The idea was that to create a website with a resource of hacks. Now, a hack is a tip or a trick or a skill to basically make your whatever it is, be it jiu-jitsu, football, computer science, better. It's a little advice here, a little piece of advice, little details that make it better. And I thought, well, what better place than to get these hacks than Rio? Because you have the best guys in the world there, you know, teachers with decades of experience, some of the best world champions in the world still there, you know, it's incredible. So my idea was to put together a resource where I could collect together bits of advice from all these high-level guys and make it accessible to whoever wanted it. And the idea was, of course, quite selfish because I could benefit from that as well. I would be in a position to learn from those guys. So BJJ Hacks in its original inception was very much like a magazine-style website, a blog. It had articles, interviews, stuff like that. And it wasn't until I made the Kira Gracie video in September of 2011 that I realized how important video was, and that inspired me to basically change the focus of BJJ Hacks into what it is now, which is an ongoing web series featuring the best in the world in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've pretty much covered all of the biggest names in Jiu-Jitsu. You know, I've had everybody from Rickson Gracie, Roger Gracie, Kira Gracie, Hywel Gracie, Clark Gracie, De La Riva, Guado, Terrare, you know, just some of the biggest names in Jiu-Jitsu. You know, you name them, pretty much I've got them, right? What I'm going to do in the future is I will continue to get the biggest and the best names in Jiu-Jitsu. You know, I've set a standard for myself, and you know, I'm not going to change that by just going for anybody. You know, my goal is to always to emulate the Jiu-Jitsu of the best in the world. You know, I'm never going to be the best in the world, you know, and many people who actually watch Jiu-Jitsu on the internet, they're not going to be the best in the world. But if we can be inspired to raise the level of our games by these guys, by learning just some of the little things that they do that make them so special, then we can all benefit.
Are there any particular cases that you can...
I can honestly say that I've learned something from 95% of the people that I've filmed. I've learned something, be it just a slight detail of a change of a grip, or you know, the hit placement of a pass, or whatever it is. It might be something small, or it could be something genuinely quite game-changing. Like, for example, Clark Gracie's omoplatic game. I saw it in action firsthand, and I was like, that fits my game. I started playing it, I started putting it into practice, and I had a lot of success with it, you know. Never going to be as good as Clark Gracie, but I could get a little something from his game. You know, the Meow brothers, being in the gym with those guys. I'm not a Berimbolo guy, but I was there firsthand witnessing them drilling their guard passing. And I can honestly say that it's had a massive effect on my own guard passing. Not just in the details of the techniques, but also in the way that they train them as well. So yeah, I've been very, very lucky and very privileged to have learned from some of the best guys in the world. With some guys it's easy because they're so special, you know, they're so different from everybody else that it's obvious what you're going to go for. So when I'm doing my interviews, I try to work like this. I look for what makes that guy special, and I look to explore it in as much detail as possible. You know, I don't ask the same guys the same questions. You know, I don't just go to somebody and go, hey, what's your favorite guard pass? Or I say like, hey, how did you start jiu-jitsu? You know, if I ask everybody that, I'm gonna get pretty much the same answer from everybody. You know, it's gonna be boring. So I always look to what makes that guy different. You know, it might be, for example, with somebody like Jackson or Jackson Souza or Terrare. You know, the story is, of course, where did they come from? Their backgrounds, how they got into jiu-jitsu, the challenges and the obstacles that they overcame to get where they were, you know. Somebody else, maybe like the Miao brothers, you know, but obviously they don't have a lot to talk about, but their jiu-jitsu does the talking. So I go after their jiu-jitsu, what makes them special. Of course, it's very difficult to get at it with those guys, but you know, everybody's different, so I always look for that special thing.
More just a personal one. Have you got any tips or hacks for working for yourself?
Working for yourself?
Yeah.
Wow.
A little bit off subject question.
No. I mean, I've been working independently now for around about 4.5 years. You know, I started my professional life, my working life, as just a corporate monkey, you know, stuck in an office, and it made me thoroughly miserable. I hated every second of it, you know. And yeah, it's horrendous, you know. Some people, you know, they exist quite happily in that environment, but I'm not one of those people. And you know, I was lucky to move away from that and to work independently. But the advice that I would give to anybody who's thinking about doing the same thing is be prepared for a long, hard journey, because it is not easy. That anytime you want to make what you do as your hobby or as your passion, if you want to make that into a paying lifestyle for yourself, if you want to actually live from it, you're going to have to be prepared to make a lot of sacrifices, to be prepared to not make a lot of money for a considerable amount of time until it's built up to a level where you're really able to sustain yourself and your family. It's not always going to be easy, you know. It's a long, hard road. But I can honestly say that if you can make it work, if you can really focus, if you can really concentrate your energies and your efforts into doing what you love, and you can make it work for you, then there's nothing better in the world. You know, there's nothing more satisfying, there's nothing more rewarding than working in a field that you feel good about, makes you feel good, that you enjoy doing what you do every day. You know, you may never be rich, but the lifestyle will make you feel rich. It'll enrich your life. So, you know, if you can make it work, then power to you. If you're a fan of jiu-jitsu videos, then I'd ask you to check out my website, bjjhacks.com, and check out my YouTube channel, BJJ Hacks. I've got videos with many different guys from the world of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and like I said, some of the best guys in the world. And maybe it's not so obvious when you're watching the video because it's just some cool tunes with a lot of good action and stuff, but genuinely you can learn something from every single video that I put online, and I hope you do.
Awesome, man.